Hi, Homesville Church of Christ. I hope you're having a great day. This is Wednesday. It is Veterans Day, and I hope you're having a great Veterans Day. Whenever I think of Veterans Day, I can't help but think of Philippians chapter 1 and verse 3. Philippians 1 verse 3 says, "I thank my God every time I remember you." And that verse really hits me strong on Veterans Day. That is a verse that is special to me on Veterans Day. When I think of veterans, I do thank my God for them. It was the 11th hour of the 11th day in the 11th month in 1918 when the world celebrated as a treaty was signed ending what was to be the war to end all wars, what they called World War I. 1 year later, on what came to be known as Armistice Day, Americans came together to remember and to honor the sacrifices of the men and women who served during the war. Soldiers who survived the war marched in parades and were honored by speeches and ceremonies recognizing their contribution to peace throughout the world. And Congress declared Armistice Day a national holiday in 1938. By this time, with unrest in much of the world, Americans realized World War I would not be the last war. After the Second World War, which was even bloodier than the first, Armistice Day continued to be observed. And in 1954, Congress changed the name of the holiday from Armistice Day to Veterans Day to include veterans of all the United States wars. Today, Americans honor the service and sacrifice of our armed forces in the past as well as the present here on Veterans Day. The official national ceremony actually takes place at Arlington National Ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers. A color guard representing all the branches of the military executes the present arms at the tomb, and a presidential wreath is placed on the graves, and a bugler plays taps. In communities across the country, there are parades and ceremonies and speeches are given. And we're asked at 11 a.m. today, 11 a.m. this morning on this Wednesday, and to observe a moment of silence to remember those who fought for our freedom. For some people, it's really uncomfortable to take a closer look at Veterans Day. It's uncomfortable because it's a painful experience. It can be a painful experience to appreciate the great cost of freedom that we enjoy as citizens in the United States. And it makes us kind of look outside of the cocoon. You know, holidays like today, it challenges me, it challenges all Americans to take a peek outside of our comfortable cocoon here in the United States at life in other countries that don't have the kind of freedoms we have. Have you seen the cruel treatment of many women in the Middle Eastern countries as they're beaten for appearing on the street without male escorts? Even if they have very good reasons, even if their only reason for venturing out was to purchase food for their hungry children, it doesn't matter. They have to have that. There are girls in these countries who are denied access to education and have no choice in their marriage partners. In Sudan, there are people, even children, who are tortured and murdered because they refuse to deny their faith in Jesus. In China, there are pregnant women who are forced to abort their unborn children to comply with laws on family size. In Central American countries, those who publicly disagree with governmental policies are often mysteriously disappearing, never to be seen again. The list of human rights violations and atrocities outside of the United States is extensive. And yet here I sit in the wealthiest nation on earth, free to attend the church of my choice, to own as many Bibles as I can afford, to choose my own spouse, or to even not to marry or not to vote for the leaders of my government, and even write a letter to an editor of a newspaper criticizing political decisions that I don't agree with. And why can I enjoy these freedoms? Because the men and women in our armed forces understand that freedom has a cost. And since the birth of our nation, brave men and women have stepped forward, weighed the cost, and have chosen to lay down their lives in service to their fellow countrymen. Thank you just isn't enough. We need to pass these truths on to future generations and celebrate Veterans Day. And Veterans Day is a great place to start to let the future generations know. Let me end this devotional here by telling you the story of Captain Russell Ripetoe. Captain Russell Ripetoe was serving in Operation Iraqi Freedom in March 2003. Previously, while serving in Afghanistan, Ripetoe had seen a lot of men die, and this brought him a renewed sense of Christianity. He developed a great passion for Jesus Christ and for the Bible during that time. And he wore a special chain around his neck when he served in Iraqi Freedom. The chain he wore, it was called the Shield of Strength. It's a 1 by 2 inch emblem that displays a U.S. flag on one side, and on the back side, it had Joshua 1 verse 9 written on that side of it. On April 3rd, 2003, Ripetoe's company was manning a nighttime checkpoint near a dam when a vehicle approached. Suddenly, a woman jumped out and cried, "I'm hungry, I need some food and water." In protecting his men, Ripetoe made everyone stay back, and he gave the order to hold back, and he moved toward the woman to see what he could do to help. And when she hesitated, the driver detonated a car bomb that killed Captain Ripetoe, killed Sergeant Nino Leviatis and Specialist Ryan Long, and wounded several others. Ripetoe believed the ancient words of Joshua 1:9. The Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Ripetoe, who died trying to help someone, was the first casualty of the Iraq conflict to be buried at Arlington National Cemetery. Just always remember Joshua 1:9. The Lord your God is with you wherever you go. We want to thank our soldiers. We want to thank soldiers like Mr. Ripetoe, who believed in Jesus and who believed in America, so much so that he gave his life in service for it. I'll end by giving you Psalm 27, verse 1. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Thank you, Holmes Road. We'll see you soon.